Welcome back. Good evening. We are on the precipice of week 6 in the NFL. This is the Unintangibles Fantasy Football Show. I am your only host tonight. I'm Jeff Schwella. Mo is ill, not feeling well. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our guest, Mr. Ian Sirota in our league, new member of our league. Welcome, Ian. Welcome to the show.
Oh, it's great to be here. I like your funky pimp music off the top.
It took us about 4 seconds to put that together. So we just wanted to sound awkward at the end, basically. But so yeah, that tune is okay.
Oh yeah, I love it. Love it. Sounds like. Do you remember the famous Earl Weaver? They had him on the show there, and he just got fired, and he started swearing at everybody and talking trash.
The Orioles manager, Earl Weaver, from like the 70s?
Yeah, if you YouTube it, you can find it. And the music at the end. So he does all this stuff, and it goes, Terry Crowley. I don't give an F about Terry Crowley. He's just happy to sit his ass on the bench and maybe get a hit every fucking once in a while. He goes, maybe you should be worried about where your next tomato plant is planted, Sicily, instead of when Terry Crowley's playing. So, like, at the end of it, they play this really cheesy music, and it sounds exactly like the music.
I gotta find that on a search after for sure. I mean, I love the Wally, like some of the Wally Blackman when he was minor league manager, like some of his freakouts from like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Is that the guy that threw the base like it was a grenade?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. Were you a baseball fan before a football fan?
I was an Expos fan, and then when they killed the Expos, that was it for me in baseball for a while.
Yeah, well, you grew up in Montreal. I got to say, this is a Canada-only edition. So Mo lives in Atlanta. So
I know that.
Only. Yeah, exactly. So well, we might have some Montreal Expos and Montreal references for this episode. You grew up in Montreal, no?
I grew up in Montreal, yeah.
Nice. Hence your DeCarry Hot Dogs team name.
Yes, hence that's the neighborhood I grew up in, Ville Saint Laurent. That was a very famous hot dog place there. It's a steamer place.
Wait, so it was called DeCarry Hot Dogs?
Yeah, it was on DeCarry Street. It's still there.
Okay.
And, it's like a 6-seater, you know, like a typical Montreal steamer place. It's been around forever, and the guys in there were really they're characters. So everyone at my neighborhood went there.
I feel the fewer the seats, the better the food sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't want you in there. They just want to make a high quality product and get it the hell out of there.
Yeah, for sure. There used to be a guy there who would be like, yes, oui. Chachao. It's like fun just watching him.
How many leagues are you currently playing in this year?
3 leagues this year.
Okay. So you had Ian joined our league, and we can get into that in a second. He inherited a situation and has turned it around very well. So how does it feel to play in 3 leagues? Does it ruin your experience when you have guys going and you're playing against the same people?
Yes. I mean, like this year, my best record's in your league. You guys are the easiest to beat, I guess. But in my other league, it was you had to keep 2 people, and I did not like the 2 people I had to keep.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's you get confused playing in 3 leagues. That's for sure.
Yeah. Are you able to kind of mentally put the little picture together in your head on Sundays of like who you need to be cheering for and against, or for 3 it's too out of control?
This year it's kind of out of control because in the past I've made the mistake of having the same players on multiple teams, and then I live or die by those guys. It's worse. It's heart-wrenching.
So I see you have a Kansas City Chiefs hat.
I do, yeah.
You just before we started recording, you said I mean, they're not your team necessarily, but they're your team this year. I mean, you do have Pat Mahomes.
In 2 leagues.
You have him in 2 leagues, and that's maybe why you've been asking me for Kareem Hunt. We can maybe get into some trade negotiation even on this episode.
Oh, I would like that.
Yeah. Did you have a feeling that, I mean, obviously Mahomes was highly touted in the preseason. Mo was definitely higher on him than I was, just because I thought he would throw a lot of picks and make a lot of mistakes. and he hasn't really done that. I mean, obviously you drafted him for his upside, or did you see something else in him too? Or
I saw that 70-yard pass in the preseason, and I thought about Andy Reid, and I thought it would be a good combination because Alex Smith is really a horrible quarterback. And what could Andy Reid do with a really good quarterback like back in the days with Donovan McNabb? I just thought it would be really good, and the fact that they held him back for a year, I like that. He probably learned everything about their system in a year and was ready to go. So he wasn't going to make the same rookie mistakes that maybe like a Baker Mayfield might be making now, right?
I can't even remember the last time a rookie quarterback was held out for an entire season. Like it's so hard to do now.
Yeah, well, it's like it's not as bad as Aaron Rodgers, but the same thing happened with Aaron Rodgers, right? He just stepped in and was dynamite, right?
Did Lamar Jackson get? I mean, he's getting some run this year with Flacco there. I mean, I think Harbaugh's too much of an old school guy to not start Flacco if he's healthy. So Lamar Jackson may get a little bit of run, but I don't think he's going to play a ton this year. What do you think?
No, I don't think Lamar Jackson will be, but I think maybe Josh Rosen in Arizona might be better halfway through the season. I
Yeah.
see potential in that guy, and they're not a bad team.
So did you buy the hat because of your Mahomes love now?
And the baldness.
Okay, because like I know people like I was telling you before.
I love Mahomes.
Yeah, he's great, man. I like I'll buy a jersey of a player that is. I'm a Detroit Lions fan, but I will start owning other people's jerseys or hats just because they're on my fantasy team. So like, I guess we're not alone in that. Who's your NFL? Do you have an NFL team?
I used to be a Browns fan.
Okay.
And it just got too painful. So I just a couple years I went to see them, and it was a disaster. I brought my kids, and my daughter got beer spilt on her, and like
Wow.
I just turned off by the Browns, and I was like, "That's it," and I hated them, and like
Wow. You went to a Browns
uh,
game.
pardon me? Yeah, I went to
You went to
Browns
a
game.
Browns game in Cleveland. That's crazy.
Pittsburgh against Cleveland.
Okay, nice NFC AFC North matchup.
Yeah, and rivals, and it was a great game, and the Browns won, but it was a horrible experience. And plus, the Browns have just broken my heart for so many years that I just couldn't take it anymore. It's like being a Leafs fan, except now it's turned around for them too, right?
Dude, I've been a Lions fan. I used to go watch Barry Sanders play in the
Right.
Pontiac Silverdome. So like I go way back with the Lions. I'd say 24 years as a Lions fan.
Wow.
And I was sticking through the lean years, but I guess every year has been a lean year so far. So
I
yeah.
go back to Brian Sipe and the Heartbreak Kids. That's when they were really good and Ozzy.
I only know them because I'm a football fan, but I'm definitely maybe a little younger than you. But
Yeah.
so the Browns, yeah, man. I mean, I was when Vinny Testaverde was a Brown. That's when I was getting into the Browns, basically, or the NFL.
That's post Brian Sipe even. Like in the Brian Sipe days, they were one of the best teams in football, but Elway broke their heart and the Raiders broke their heart in the playoffs every time.
I think Eric Metcalf was a good Brown, actually, in that.
Yeah. And they had like that double punch of Biner and Mac. Double punch of like the hard back and the smooth back, and they were one of the first teams to kind of do that, the scat back and the big truck, right?
Yeah, do you mind stepping back from the light because I can't really see your face? Yeah, no, I don't. Maybe something changed. I saw you better before, but if there's any way to improve that, I'll just mention that. Okay, so you inherited a team. I don't know if you've inherited a fantasy team before, and obviously, I thought your situation was good. I mean, your three keepers coming in were Devontae Adams. DeAndre Hopkins, and we had Jordan Howard. And I know you've been definitely bearish on Howard since you inherited.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts coming into that situation? I mean, did you obviously you had two great wide receivers there, and you're better in front of the camera now. Perfect.
Yeah, I was worried because I wasn't sure that Adams would repeat last year, and I scared that Deshaun Watson would have a hangover sophomore year. but especially Howard. I didn't want Howard at all. I tried to trade him. I still have.
Yeah. That's awesome. So why? I mean, did you not like Howard? I mean, he's been put up 2 good seasons his first 2 years.
Yeah, there's something I just don't trust the Bears running game at all. Like I don't trust that. I think they want Mitchell Trubisky to throw the ball, and they want Tariq Cohen back there to catch it, not Howard to run it. And the fact that Howard can't really catch the ball really sours me on him.
Although he's caught a few more balls this year, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was maybe thinking they'd be sort of like a thunder and lightning, like an Ingram Kamara situation this year, but not really yet for those guys.
No, and he like put up a stinker in a game where they scored. How many points did they score last game?
55 points or something like that. Something over 40 plus points.
And he did nothing.
He did nothing. Yeah. So I could see why you're sour.
Yeah.
Well, you do have some other. You do have a little bit of insurance. I mean, you have Chris Carson, you have Adrian Peterson, so you do have some RBs that are still kind of rolling. Just looking at your team here, you have Wentz and Mahomes, you have Jordan Howard, you have Lamar Miller on the bench. Kittle is a nice tight end. Is like he's playing this week, but you still have Jordan Reed as well, and you have Julian Edelman who came back, caught a few balls last week. This is a standard league, so. You're still going to rack up the yards with Julian Edelman. I'm just trying to see your team here. I mean, how do you feel about your overall situation with your team?
I think I could improve my team if I can make a couple of trades. I'd like to get a stud running back. That's my goal.
Okay. Maybe we'll talk in a couple minutes here. I'll see what we can maybe work on. Because I am 5. I should say I'm the defending champ of this league. I never won a fantasy football title in about 15 to 18 years I've been playing fantasy. So
really,
yeah, I won last year for the first time. I beat Moe in the finals.
Wow!
And we wanted to also have you on this week because you are playing Moe this week. So you are in first place in our division at 3-1-1. Did you're the one who tied it on Monday night, right?
Yeah, but I had 3 guys up against 1 guy, but I had 2. I had a Redskin, and the Redskins' offense just was so bad.
Yeah, you had Adrian Peterson and Jordan Reed, and you were going against Chris Thompson. Is that right?
Yeah, and I was up by 5 points, and I tied it. And I had a linebacker from New Orleans. Demario Davis or something.
Oh, right. On paper, I'm sure with the projections, you were definitely supposed to win that matchup. So I guess you're not happy with the outcome?
Well, what happened with you the week prior, I probably shouldn't have won that matchup. So I believe in the fantasy gods, and they came back on the ass. So.
Yeah, and Ian's referring to he beat me by 1 point, and I was actually hoping I had Justin Houston, and that final play I was wondering if that was a completed pass or an incompleted pass against Denver on Monday Night Football, and that might have actually put me up on the last play. So
you would have won if that was considered a fumble and a recovery because it was Houston that recovered it.
Yeah. I was pissed, man. I mean. Obviously, I'm 0-4, so like at the time, so I was like, this just isn't my year. I mean, do you believe in the fantasy gods?
I do. I totally believe in them, and I believe that their karma comes. I was in a league once that I'm no longer a part of that league, but the reason why was that I got into a fight with another member of the league, and it all happened just before the playoffs, and then I won everything. Like I won other prizes. Like we had, and my wife was in the league too, and she won the. We had a loser bowl where the teams that are out of the playoffs play each other. She won the loser bowl. I won the whole title. I won best. We had best player prizes and all these prizes. I won every single prize except one, and they were so angry. And I felt like it was the fantasy gods, retribution for me.
I believe in the fantasy god thing a little bit, man. I don't know. Like I feel like sometimes the fantasy gods punish the trash talkers. Sometimes is that ever? Yeah. Obviously, not in your situation. But.
Well, I trash talked. Well, no, I did trash talk you and beat you, but
you did. You did win that. How many? Okay, so you play in 2 other leagues. How many teams are in those leagues?
One league is 8. I don't know the guys. I've never met any of them.
Okay.
The other league is out of the United States.
Okay.
And they're all like actors or writers in Los Angeles.
Okay.
I play in that league too, and that league's really expensive, and it's really difficult because he's got it set up with crazy kind of numbers, like what the PPR is, and it's
Okay.
all
So do you prefer PPR or do you prefer standard?
PPR.
You prefer PPR, okay.
Or
Well,
even
we've been ranting for a long time and how we're not huge fans of PPR. So give us the argument for why you like PPR.
because I think, especially with the way running backs have changed the game, the standard scoring doesn't work so well with running backs anymore because there's limited running backs that will put up big numbers where there are like the Chris Thompsons where if he's in a PPR league, he's a good back, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. So Thompson would definitely have a lot more value in that situation.
Edelman would be a better player, right? And anybody that, grabs a lot of, even Hopkins on my team, I mean, like catching 11 balls every week would be huge, right?
Do you, I mean, what have you seen 5 weeks of the season? Any, not predictions, but any general comments on what we've seen so far or what we might see?
I'm hoping someone will make a trade with me.
Okay, well, we could talk about that actually right now, and then I definitely want to get your team. Sorry?
There's a couple of stacked teams in our league.
There's a couple of stacked teams. So I will say that Moe, who owns Gurley and Kamara, he drafted Kamara. So he wants to let everyone know he's drafted Kamara. He's mentioned it many times. So he just happened to get super lucky with that situation. I used to be stacked, and I actually think my team is decent on paper, but Russell Wilson has let me down hardcore this year. And I've just had some bad luck in some other scenarios. I drafted Amari Cooper. I never owned that guy, and I don't want to have him again. But
not a fan of his, and I've been through that Russell Wilson disappointing you phase of my life.
Oh God. So okay, so we could talk a small trade situation right now. I know you've probably taken a look at my roster because I know you mentioned you wanted Hunt. As of now, I know I'm 0-5, so I would say maybe come back to me in another week. Are you at all interested in Aaron Jones and or Jamal Williams?
In Aaron Jones only.
Aaron Jones only. Would you contemplate Jones for Howard straight up?
Yeah. Give me a week to think about that one. I thought that's where we were gonna go, but I feel like I'm getting the bum end of that deal only because there's a triple-headed monster on the Packers.
Okay. If I threw in Jamal Williams, so you have the Green Bay running back, would that help at all?
I'd make that trade. Wait, let me look at your roster. Hold on a second.
Okay. I will say another team has asked me about Sony Michel.
Oh, right.
And I don't know if I really want to trade him right now because I still have to contemplate my keepers for next year. So
right.
It's definitely a memo to the league if anyone's watching that I would definitely need a first-round pick for Sony Michel.
Oh, that's
but not ready to do that today. I would make a trade. I would trade you Jones and Jamal Williams for Jordan Howard if you wanted to do that.
Okay, let me think about it tonight. I'm probably gonna have some alcohol, so it might happen.
I have some right now, so that's helping me make the offers. So that offer is on the table, so you can think about that. I'd consider that deal. So it's something I'd consider.
You have a wide receiver you would put in instead of Jamal Williams?
Come again? Say it again.
Instead of Jamal Williams, would you offer me a wide receiver in that same, like as the add-on? Wait, I'll just get into our league here.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought maybe Williams would just be that guy where you get the insurance on the Green Bay situation.
I think I don't want the. I have that insurance already. Like
Okay.
I that insurance. I'm trying to get rid of Miller. Really, to be honest with you. But find your team here, league. Okay, well,
Didn't you? Okay, so wait, you had the second overall pick. Did you draft Lamar Miller second overall?
I did because I had a choice between him, Henry, and
Freeman?
Jared McKinnon. Were kind of like the three guys.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, I actually picked the right guy.
Yeah, you did. Did you ever consider Royce Freeman?
I was scared that rookie running backs, unless they're high end, scare the hell out of me. Like unless it's like that guy on the Giants there.
Saquon.
Okay, let me get rosters here.
You take a look. Have a look at my team. What are your thoughts of our league so far? I mean, Chris has been doing some recaps. Are you enjoying playing in our league?
I do. You guys are fun, and I enjoy the league. What if that trade was Eckler and Jones for Howard?
Oh, that's tough. That's tough. You might have to give me something else in return.
Okay, I could do that.
Because I like Eckler. I haven't used him yet, but I like him, and he always produces.
And you don't want to trade Kareem Hunt, eh?
No, not trading Hunt.
You,
He's not moving. Even if I go 0-15 or whatever, I can't trade him because I want to keep him for next year.
Okay. It's not that he owes you money or anything like that.
He does it. So I guess, Antonio is not a movable piece, obviously, right now. Kareem Hunt. And then I have to sort out my third keeper. I think I'm going to stick with Keenan Allen. So I think better days are ahead for him. But
maybe you want to move Cooper.
I'd consider moving Cooper. It's been disappointing, but I know he's talented. So
yeah, but he's not. I don't know how many. He would be just like a backup plan for me. He wouldn't be a star. So.
It doesn't make any sense that he doesn't produce like he has yet so far. So
he hasn't really in the NFL except his rookie.
It's been disappointing. Okay, so right now we have on the table Jones, and you want Eckler, and I'm not convinced about Eckler just getting rid of Eckler.
Right.
I'm not saying no right now.
Okay.
I would feel better about the Jones and Jamal Williams situation. I would make that trade. I'd roll the dice.
Okay.
Because I do know Jones has the biggest ceiling of the three players involved in the deal. I'm aware.
For sure, but maybe Howard bounces back this week. I don't know.
That's my only guess. So that's the only deal I would do tonight or whenever in the next couple of days. Eckler may require another piece coming back from you, but I'm not really sure.
Right.
Is that fair?
What piece would you want? I mean,
and I'm just looking right now. I don't even know, man. Definitely not Andy Dalton. Although I haven't had a good quarterback yet. I'm not really interested in Lamar Miller. It's tough, man. Your team is a little tough right now for me to choose someone. I don't even want to say J.J. Watt. It's not even worth it. Darwin James, that was a great pickup, by the way. Did you draft him?
No, I picked him up.
Okay, because he's been gangbusters.
Yeah, I read this whole thing on him on the website about how he's like one of the best young safeties. Yeah. And I know he was a high first-round draft pick of them, so they must have believed him too. What if I threw in Wentz? What about Peterson?
No interest in Adrian Peterson. So you would trade me? You would consider trading me Howard and Wentz for Jones and Eckler, correct? No.
If I put in Wentz, then the price.
You want it to go bigger? Yeah, no. I'm going to roll with Jameis Winston. I think we've come as far as we can go for our offer, and I'm not saying no to Eckler and Jones, but not. I'd have to think about it. But I would consider the Green Bay running backs for Howard. I would do that. I'm a lot closer to that.
Right. Okay.
So.
Would if I gave you Dalton.
You have to. You would have to give me a draft pick, maybe. Then I'd consider that.
How about Dalton and
No.
for?
I would want Jordan Howard and a draft pick from you for
just for taking Andy Dalton, or
just for rostering Dalton. Well, look, we have some of the makings of this deal. If you don't mind, I just want to cover a couple things quickly because we're coming up to 20 minutes. Have you ever played Fab? Are you in a league where you have Fab?
No.
You're not? Okay. Have you ever played Fab before?
What is that?
Like the free agency acquisition budget you have. Like where you take bids on players with money?
No, I've never done it. No.
Okay. So I joined this FFPC league. It's the Fantasy Football Players Championship. I don't know if you've heard of the FFPC. People talk about those like high stakes leagues, basically.
Yeah, like DraftKings or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a DFS site. It's season long. So I joined a league this year. I don't know anyone in the league. I am in first place right now in my division, and I'm given $1,000 Fab dollars to spend on players. And I'm thinking of putting a bid in tonight for Marquez ValdesSchuster. Do you like him at all?
The wide receiver in the Packers?
Yes.
How's Geronimo's health?
So I own Geronimo Allison, which is why I'd be thinking about doing this. Right. Do you like his prospects at all? I mean, would it be good insurance if you are an Allison owner to own this guy? I mean, he looked great last week.
I guess it would depend on what the chances of Allison and my wife's laughing at me right now. I guess
my girlfriend laughs at me all the time when I do this podcast. So.
Here's my dog.
Does your dog make calls for you on fantasy?
Yeah, he shits on my team every week. I guess it depends who's available, because like that guy could, if Cobb and Allison come back, that guy's not playing.
He's not. I'm a little skeptical on Cobb going forward, and I think he's just good Allison insurance. So I was going to ask you what you would spend on a guy like that. And so I think I'm going to spend maybe 150 to 200. So maybe good 20% of my Fab budget on this kind of guy. I don't know. Would you do that?
No.
How much would you spend on MVS? 10% of that?
Well, is this your first acquisition or?
No, I have about 850 left.
How weak are you at wide receiver? My dog's hold on.
I'm pretty good on receiver, but it's a league where everyone rosters 20 players and the waivers are bone dry.
Right.
Okay. Bone dry. So and I'm an Allison owner, so I feel that if it's good insurance for me, basically. So I'm willing to pay a little more.
Don't you think? I'm just throwing this out there, but don't you think like normally in the NFL, like right around now, wide receivers start getting knocked out or losing their jobs, right?
Yeah. And
you kind of find those wide receivers mid-season that, like, this guy could be that guy that just take over, right?
I think so. I think he's on the Packers too, which doesn't hurt. So I might make a play for this guy.
Yeah, I could see that. I would like look at who else is available too, because there's teams that are hurting at the wide receiver position. I could see them benching some players.
Yeah, I could take a look at that. How long have you been playing fantasy for?
Long time. Like, I gotta say maybe 10 years, 12 years.
Okay, nice. Is it more fun than, do you play fantasy sports and other sports or?
Just football.
Nice. Okay, me too. At this point, yeah.
I don't think I could do hockey and I don't want that much knowledge about sports.
So you like the whole it's like once a week and that's pretty much it.
No, I look every day at like stuff and Rado World, see who's injured and see the news and read the starts and sits sometimes. Although I really believe that if you follow the experts, you'll lose.
That's great. Okay. Do you care to elaborate on that specifically or?
I just think they're wrong probably 70% of the time. The only thing that they're right about is like if somebody has this historic matchup with someone they don't match up well against. Like sometimes a big, powerful wide receiver will go up against a big, powerful cornerback, and they don't match up well against them. And history shows it. And you shouldn't play that player if they always have a bad game against the same cornerback, right?
Are you a believer in the analytics or some of the analytics guys in the fantasy football world?
A little bit, but I also go by gut too.
Okay.
So like this week, Lynch is playing against Seattle, and I probably should bench him. I don't know if it's in. I don't think it's in this league. I have him, and I'm gonna play him just because of that old like he's playing his old team, and they're gonna play. Oh,
the revenge game.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite podcast, fantasy football podcast?
No, I don't listen to podcasts.
Oh, nice. So you're
you guys a couple of times.
Are we doing okay?
Yeah, you're doing pretty good. Although, like, if you go 0-6, I think you should have to not do this anymore.
I shouldn't be. Well, I don't give advice, right? That's definitely one thing I don't do. I'm basically just commiserating about my experience this year. But I've never really had a season like this, so I'd like to get it out of my system this year. I'm okay with that, and I'm hoping to play spoiler for the rest of the year for you guys. But I really enjoyed talking with you about fantasy, man. I wish you good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks.
And good luck with Moe this week, man. Good luck. You gotta shake off the undefeateds.
Well, you know what? Maybe one of the girly will bump his toe somewhere, or something will happen. That's what I need to happen. A little girly accident.
Yeah, he's got to get slowed down.
I hope so. Who's he playing, anyways?
That's a good question, and I don't know off the top of my head. But either way, I think they're just gonna steamroll whoever the situation is.
Yeah.
And they're matchup proof. They're matchup proof. Their offense is just.
Whoever drafted Goff is Goff, or whatever his name is Goff, I guess, is smart.
Yeah.
In it this year.
Any final thoughts, Ian?
I think I'm going to win the championship in your league.
I like it. I like it. It's the first bold call of the year. I love it. Well, good luck, man. I'm glad I don't have to face you again this year. And thanks again for doing this.
Yeah, thanks.